This is lesson 112. We will be multiplying and dividing negative numbers. Now, the first thing we need to do is make sure you can tell when it's multiplication or if it's addition or subtraction. What I do is I look at these parentheses and I look to see if there's anything in between them. Right here. If there's nothing in between them, they're telling me to multiply. So it's kind of weird. Multiplication is this operation where you actually don't have to write down the symbol for it. All the other ones, adding, subtracting, division, they actually have to give you a symbol for it. Multiplication, nope, it can just be by location. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all multiplication because there's no number between the parentheses. Now, the next thing I want you to notice is whether or not there's even a negative there. Because the way you're going to know the sign of your answer is you're going to count how many negatives are in the problem. So if I look at problem number 1, I don't have any. So I know my answer is going to be positive. Now this goes back to when you were really quite a little kid and start doing your multiplication facts. It's the same kind of problem. You've been doing this problem for years. Number 2, I have 1 negative. That means my answer is going to be negative. Number 3, I have 1 negative again. My answer is going to be negative. For number 4, I have 2 negatives. My answer will be positive. Now the rule is, listen very carefully, if you have an even number of negatives, like I do for 1 and 4, my answer will be positive. If I have an odd number of negatives, like I do for 2 and 3, 1 is an odd number, my answer will be negative. Now there's another way to keep track of these. If you'll notice, in problems 1 and 4, both numbers have the same sign, and your answer is positive. If you look at problems 2 and 3, both numbers have different signs from each other, and your answer is going to be negative. So that will help you out. Now the only other thing I need to do is use my math facts that I've known for quite a while. 2 times 4, I know that's 8. 2 times 4, I know that's 8. 2 times 4, no, it's 8. 2 times 4, I know that's 8. Now let's try this on a couple more problems. On 5, 6, 7, and 8, you'll see that I have division. Doesn't matter. Rules are the same. Each time I go through and I count how many negatives I have. So on number 5, I have no negatives. So my answer will be positive, just like it's always been. On number 6, I have 1 negative. Odd number, answer will be negative. Number 7, I have 1 negative. Odd number, answer will be negative. Number 8, 2 negatives. 2 is an even number. Answer will be positive. Now I just go do what I've been doing all these years. I know 4 divided by 2 is 2. Same thing, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Last thing, numbers 9 and 10. Just to make sure you got the hang of these negatives. I know I have multiplication for each of these because there's nothing between the parentheses. Second step I do is I go and count how many negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Odd number, so my answer will be negative. The 7 is what the odd number was. Next thing I do after that, and the last thing, I know 1 times itself is always 1. I'm done. Number 10, I realize my operation's multiplication because nothing between the parentheses. Second step, I count my negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is an even number, so that means my answer will be positive. 1 times itself is 1. I am all done. One last little reminder. When you have a positive number, we often, pretty much all the time, write it without the positive. Continue that way. That's all.